What is going on, guys? I hope you're having an amazing day. And boy, oh boy, do we have an amazing video today. Today we have Gavin Newsom makes big admission to Sean Hannity. So if you guys don't know Gavin Newsom, basically he is the governor of California. And Sean Hannity, as we all know, is a famous news anchor at Fox News. At this point, I think everybody knows him. I don't know anybody who doesn't know him, except basically they're talking about homelessness in this video. This topic is about homelessness in California and how rampant and how bad it's been, and the crime in California. It's about crime and homelessness, both because both are linked to a certain degree. And Gavin Newsom up in this, I'm not going to actually spoil the video for you guys. Let me not spoil the video. But all I got to say is it's very interesting. It is very interesting in the fact that Gavin Newsom kind of took accountability a bit, but also did not necessarily take it. And I will explain that further in the video with further context. But with that being said, I think I've rambled enough at this point. Let's get right into this video.
And welcome back to Hannity. So with a declining population, it is no secret that Americans are now fleeing California in droves, despite its vast natural resources, great weather, beautiful coastline. Now, California is shrinking rapidly. But it's not just people. Businesses also are leaving the state. Look at this. According to one CBS report, approximately 65,000 have left since 1990. And that exodus continues to this day and is especially palpable in San Francisco. The city's famed Union Square neighborhood is now quickly turning into a ghost town with 19 major store closures since 2020. So what's going on in the Golden State, and will the state's governor take any responsibility? Here's part two of my interview with Governor Gavin Newsom. Let me ask about quality of life issues. When you have...
I'll give you these back, by the way. I'm well aware of these stats.
I think if you put them around the governor's mansion, this is going to be a classic interview. You know, listen, it may seem, and you're I appreciate your passion for your state.
I love it.
I appreciate the fact that you fight for the things you believe in.
Yeah,
true.
You know, and this goes back to the original premise of not only this discussion, because this really is a friendly discussion.
No, I know.
There's no personal animus between us. It's just, I don't agree with your views. You're very good at giving reason, rationale for losing population and higher state income tax. And now I'm going to ask you about the homeless population. But you have stores now in San Francisco, because of smash and grab robberies, they're leaving.
Yeah.
You know, Walgreens is one. I think Target is the other. There's at least three. Whole Foods is another. Yeah. You're leaving San Francisco. Yeah. Okay. So my question to you is, between taxes, bureaucracy, crime, homelessness, and the homeless numbers are not really good for you in your state versus Florida.
I acknowledge that. And no, I mean, I wouldn't compare ourselves to anyone. It's a disgrace, the homeless issue out
in
here.
2008, you had a 10-year plan.
Yeah.
I got the tape. Let me play for you.
Let's do it. San Francisco.
We believe fundamentally that food solves hunger, that shelters solve sleep, and that housing solves homelessness. And if we're going to solve the problem of those that are out on the streets that we define as homeless, we better solve the housing problem if we're going to have an impact. And that's why we established this framework, what we call a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in San Francisco.
Isn't that insane, guys? What a typical politician. Like back in 2008. In 2008, this man said, hey, we have a plan to reduce homelessness. And now look at it. He has done an abhorrent job, if you ask me. In my opinion, it has gotten 10 times worse. I don't have the numbers to back that up, except, I'm just saying 10 times, but it's gotten worse, basically, essentially what I'm saying. As you guys understand it, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you know how bad it is in California. I only visited California one time, and this was back up in 2021. Yeah, like at the end of 2021, I visited California, and I just thought, wow, this is not what I've seen up in the movies. This is not what I've seen, everywhere. I thought it was going to be sunshine, rainbows, the stars and everything on the floor, like a lot of people around. It was a lot of people around, except there was a lot of homeless people around too. And it was like it just smelled so bad out there. I think all major cities at this point are kind of the same. They smell that bad and all of this other stuff. I digress. Basically what I'm saying is he did not do a good job from 2008 until now, 2023.
It's in San Francisco.
Okay, now, here we are.
You want to know the results after 10 years?
Okay, here's the comparison.
I don't need to look at
You don't like my charts. I know you wouldn't
charts. I know the charts. I know these charts so well.
Okay.
And after 10 years, we reduced the street population by 33%. You know what? I'm proud of the fact we established the goal. We did it with the Bush administration, with Republicans. We did it with a framework where we were actually identified by George W. Bush as one of the leaders in terms of establishing not only a framework of a plan, but delivering on what we promoted and promised.
Wait, guys, he just said after 10 years, we reduced the homelessness population or the people on the street by 33%. How is that possible? Because from what I've seen, everybody is saying it's worse. Everybody unanimously, if you're left, right, centrist, whatever you are, you all say that it's worse out there. From the Californians that I know personally and from the people that I see online everywhere, just speaking their mind, they say it's abhorrently worse out there. So what exactly is this, statistic coming from? I'm not understanding where this number is coming from. He's very slick in the way that he presents numbers and all of that stuff, so I got to look it up. Except let's keep it going because it actually gets a lot more interesting than this.
And I agree with you. Michelangelo said it best. The biggest risk in life is not that we aim too low and reach it. It's we aim too high and miss it, rather the opposite. My point being, we have to be audacious. And in so doing, we actually made progress. This state has not made progress in the last 2 decades as it relates to homelessness.
Why?
Because housing costs are too high, our regulatory thickets are too problematic, localism has been too impactful, meaning people locally are pushing back against new housing starts and construction. I've been here 4 years. I can't make up for the fact in 2005 we had an historic number of homeless under Republican administration.
Right now there's 171,000 estimated. Okay.
Disgraceful.
And all right, I'll compare to Florida again. 26,000.
Of course.
Okay, same weather, similar state. I mean, I've lived in both.
Dynamics are very different. That said, we own this, Sean. I'm not here defending this. But here's the difference.
But you're going to build 1,200 homes this year, I read.
That's not true.
You have a proposal.
I just got 68,000 people off the streets last year. And by the way, that's been PolitiFact, 68,000.
68,000.
I have a $15.3 billion homeless plan. When I got here, it was $500 million. The state of California was not involved in the homeless issue. We got involved.
See, he's very slick with how he says stuff. I got 68,000 people off of the streets last year. So I looked it up. And apparently he did do that, right? So that part is true. But guess how many people within the span of 2 years went actually into homelessness that added on to it in the span of 2 years? I think it said from 2019 to 2021. Basically, 172,000 people from what I looked up. 172,000 people became homeless within that time span. So you got 68,000 people off the street, but except that many people actually became homeless in that time frame as well. So what do you mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? He's kind of slick with how he says this stuff. Like what he's saying is technically true, but it's also a context around what he's saying. But let's keep going.
We're holding cities and counties accountable. I'm suing cities that are not producing housing. We actually have a 15-year high in new housing starts in the state of California. We're actually seeing programs produce real results, but I want accountability. I'm not the mayor of California. I'm governor of states larger than 21 states, populations combined. And the difference between me and most politicians is I own this. I take responsibility for this. This is personal to me. I love this state. Okay. I don't like what's happening with the encampments. I don't like what's happening in the streets and sidewalks. I don't like the bashing of my old city, San Francisco.
I own this.
Whole Foods did shut down one business, but there was a bad location to begin with. They're opening a new one. We have 2.7%.
My sister was out here recently with her.
See, it's very strange. He says he owns this. He's saying, hey, I own this problem. This problem is mine, right? That's what he's saying, right? That he owns this. But, okay, you're saying this, but then some of your rhetoric is not matching what you're saying right there. When you misrepresent your numbers and you do all of this and that, it's not representing you owning this. You know what I mean? You can own it also, by the way, and still not do anything about it. You can say, oh yeah, I'm lazy, and not do anything about you being lazy. You know what I mean? Same thing with this. Oh, there's a lot of homeless people. I own this. I'm the one that's, over this state. I'm the governor of this state, so I own this. Except also, what are you doing about it though? It's one thing to own it, but it's another thing to actually say, hey, what am I, I'm doing this about it. If that makes sense. I'm talking kind of fast right now. I'm slipping up. So excuse me. But with that being said, let's just keep going at this point.
Team, and I said, don't go to the wharf.
Certain parts are bad, and we own that. And I just put the National Guard and the CHP down there. Hundreds of millions. I know. And by the way, you mentioned defund police. Don't accuse me of that. I've never been part of that.
You did say, and I have a quote of you saying you didn't want to build any more border wall. That quote I have.
Because it was sort of farcical, this notion that somehow you're going to have a physical structure that's 2,000 miles long.
Why not?
With all due respect, I sit here watching the former president say he did it and somehow Mexico paid for it. It's laughable, those assertions.
Well, you got a better trade deal with Mexico and Canada and NAFTA.
I'm not here to take a cheap shot on that point.
And coming up next.
And that's pretty much it. That was pretty much the video, guys. Right there, that was the video. I think that was an amazing video by Sean Hannity and the Fox team over there. But with that being said, what do you guys think? like I said at the beginning of the video, he took accountability, but except the way he took it was kind of strange. He said, hey, the homelessness problem is an actually big problem, and I take responsibility for it. But at the same time, we've done this, we've done that, we've done that. Well, apparently it's not enough, because it's getting worse, or at least up in the heads of the people of your residents is getting worse. Let me say that, because I can't say it's physically getting worse because I don't know all the numbers. I'm not even going to lie and say I know all the numbers. Except from what I see, the residents are not satisfied with what's being done by Gavin Newsom. And I know for a fact that that's the case, because I just see it everywhere at this point, left or right. Like I said, this is a bipartisan issue that Gavin Newsom is not doing what he needs to do for his city. I mean, not for his city, excuse me, for his state. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, my name is yedotti. Like and subscribe. Peace.